Hello and thanks for joining the first edition of Journalist Hangout. This week, I am Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, herdsmen continue killings in Adamawa State, set Olu Falae's farm ablaze, and long queues resurface in Lagos as depot owners complain of lack of fuel. And later on the program, President Buhari thanks former President Jonathan for conceding defeat in 2015. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Mayor Akikpelu, and Chris Nwandu. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us. Despite the ongoing outcry of the federal government to contain the terror of herdsmen in the country, their murderous exploits have continued to threaten the collective peace of Nigeria. On Sunday, suspected herders set Chief Olu Falae's farm ablaze, and some launched an attack on Newman local government in Adamawa State, where an unspecified number of persons have been killed. How long more can Nigerians condone the excesses of these killers? Babajide, I don't know, what is it with Chief Olu Falae and these people? We know that Chief Olu Falae was kidnapped at a point in time. Yes. After his release, his abductors were apprehended and were tried. And this same set of people, I don't know, maybe they had to come back. They're not kidnapping this time around, but just to set his farm ablaze. What's the motive?
Well, if it's to set people's farms ablaze, that's not peculiar to Olu Falae. As you saw what happened to former Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Samuel Afolayan. His farm in Oboile was set ablaze. Every year they set his farm ablaze. And why do they do that? Because they believe that once they set the farm ablaze, fresh grass that is ideal for grazing their cattle will sprout from the ground, you know. So 45 hectares of farmland you destroy because you want to feed your cattle. This is what they do to people. And that is why if you want people to, herders to graze freely, it will always bring friction. There's no way you will do this, and if they can lay their hands on your cattle, that they will not poison your cattle or kill your cattle. And when they kill your cattle, you will now run and be calling your killers, your mercenaries, to come and be killing people. This is what happens all the time. There's nowhere that herdsmen and farmers enjoy a good relationship. Because even in the north, in states where herdsmen had properly delineated grazing areas, they told them that they should not encroach on farmlands. That's why what they try to do is to even restrict the grazing to the dry season, because there's no guarantee that during the wet season they will not encroach onto people's farmlands. So this is the thing. Baba Falae said it that was probably the reason, although he also didn't foreclose the possibility of these people avenging the trial of the people who kidnapped the old man on his birthday and killed his guard, one of his guards. They killed him. So they got sentenced. And the beauty of it all was that the trial was very fast by Nigerian standards, very fast, and justice was served on them. So it's possible that some of these guys are still around and they are not happy that that was the fate that befell their colleague. But a situation in which herdsmen will set people's farms ablaze. If you see, I'm sure in the course of the program we'll be able to see Air Vice Admiral Afolayan's farm. You will see oranges, his farm, this orange farm set ablaze, with the oranges destroyed on the trees. How do you do this to people? You are ruining people's lives. And if they touch your cattle, your blood will boil. You cannot, because you want to preserve yourself economically, endanger other people's means of livelihood. It's just not right.
Mayor,
it's just not right.
Just give me the way out of this, because it's difficult.
Yeah, before I say that, I want to look at it also from this angle. We should be careful to attribute everything that happens to herdsmen, because there could be other criminal gangs who, for whatever reason, for different motives, could involve in gangsterism, and everything will be attributed to herdsmen. I'm not saying they're not the one that got that place burned, but it could be some other criminal gangs for other reasons. Having said that, my problem with this herdsmen issue is the fact that those who are our leaders, who comes from the north, seems to be determined not to call these people to order because they see it as a cultural thing. Because if they don't see it as a cultural thing, these people are criminals. It is the duty of state to rein in criminals. But they will not be able to do that all this while. And it has gotten to a stage where we have to now appease people who are criminals. Now, government has decided that, oh, the only way we can solve this incessant quarrel between farmers and herdsmen is to have colonies, grazing colonies, which to me is ridiculous. Ridiculous because it is not fair for you to impose your culture or your way of life or your economic decision on other parts of the country that doesn't share that same culture with you.
Should government even be involved?
That's what I'm saying. So it is not, it's because of appeasement. Government is trying to appease people who are just criminal gangs. Because having cattle and rearing cattle is a private thing. It's not a government thing. So there's no reason why the government is only coming in to appease them so that we won't need to do that. But I don't think that is right. So let us look at the fundamental issue. And the fundamental issue is that these people are criminal gangs, and it's the duty of state to rein them in.
Sikian, your intervention on this?
Sincerely, this is getting worrisome. And the dimension at which this is recurring on a daily basis is becoming very, very worrisome to some of us. And the worrisome aspect for me is not only the destruction, but also the feelings we are getting from the security agents. Just yesterday, the DSS came up with a position that most of the people we are calling Fulani herdsmen that have been doing the killing and others are not Fulani herdsmen, that they are ISIS members, right? And and that in itself is
an indictment.
Is an indictment. That's big indictment. Very, very big indictment. And let me tell you, let me even give you instances. For the DSS to come out with such a statement, probably they don't know the implication of what they are saying. One, economically, politically, and otherwise. For the country, are you now saying that Nigeria has become an ISIS terror nation? That's one. Two, you also realize that ISIS, whenever ISIS operates, it comes out to say, I did that.
They own up.
They don't own up. They don't hide it. Even if just one person that was killed, ISIS will come out and say, we did this. Then, thirdly, recently US took certain position on some countries and banned their citizens from coming to US. Okay? So most often when our security agents try to fly all this kind of this thing, it becomes worrisome. But that is a big indictment. That means they even know those engaging in all this thing. But personally, I don't believe them. Okay? Some people are just trying to shy away from the truth and just to try to divert our attention from the realities. They've moved away from the north. They started from the north. They went to the north central. They moved away from north central. They're penetrating southwest. They've been to the southeast, and it's spreading. And the bulk, to me, as Lord Mayor will always say, stops on the table of the president. I believe that if President Buhari comes out today and calls these people to order, they will stop it. That is me.
They will not stop.
They will not stop because
it's as if
he's a weak leader.
No, it's as if this thing is like going out of control. as if security agencies, the military, they are overstretched, and the capacity to stop our border, very porous border, what we have up north there, especially around. And when you want to see the trend of the hit and run tendency of these people, it becomes difficult to contain. See, this is Adamawa now. Tomorrow, you hear back in Benue. Next tomorrow, it could be, what's the name? It could be Taraba. Yeah. Just, their modus operandi is...
They are very mobile. I've said repeatedly on this program how they engage these killers. You know, based on my own investigations when I went to Adamawa State, the people, these killers are not from ISIS. These guys are paid mercenaries, and that's why I've tried to promote the idea of calling them the Fulani militia. It is not the herdsmen who kill people, but the herdsmen have a killing machine that they summon. When you kill their cattle, or you kill any of them, they will avenge it. You know, Olu Falae was boasting some time ago that if you kill a Fulani man, that is a debt that you pay, whether you like it or not. So the nature of these guys is, if you kill someone that's close to me or you kill my cattle, I will come after your life. So they have people that at the snap of their fingers, they tell them, come and kill. And these people will come from as far as Senegal, Mali, and all that. We have decent, nice Fulani people, we have criminal Fulani elements. A lot of the cattle rustling that is going on in Zamfara, in Katsina, in Breningwari area of Kaduna, are carried out by criminal-minded Fulani persons from outside Nigeria, especially from Niger Republic. They are we have Fulanis on tape saying that the people came to steal our cattle are bandits who are Fulani like them. We have it. The story that Somna Sambo did that won him the Wole Soyinka Award, if you watch that story again, you will see Fulani people in Katsina State, in Faskari, and other parts of Kaduna State, blaming the cattle rustling on criminally minded Fulani. So this is not a case of, oh, these people, maybe they are ISIS or this thing. We know those who are killing our people. Why is it that it is when there is some form of conflict between two tribes, between some people, that some people will now come and kill on behalf of another group? If ISIS wants to carry out terrorism, they don't discriminate in this manner. No, they should tell us another story. They don't discriminate in this manner. They just come, they go, oh, you are, this is the, you are a Shiite, you are this. They'll come and then take your life. So we know how ISIS operates. The kind of killings going on is not consistent with the way ISIS operates. We know far too much about ISIS to be fed this kind of story. And if we continue along this line, refusing to address the problem, that means we want to live with the problem. And if we are not careful, if we continue to live with this problem, Nigeria is in danger. Nobody knows how this whole matter will end. So the earlier we tell ourselves the truth, the better. I've been saying it repeatedly that some of the people around the president, they have made a career out of lying to the man, misleading the man. You saw the speech that the president read on January 1 on this fuel scarcity. The speech refused to address the cause of the fuel scarcity. Instead, Mr. President was blaming marketers, blaming hoarders, and threatening to punish people. What happened? After Mr. President said all of that, and I came out to say Mr. President was misled, his own aide, his own Minister of State, came out in the open at the Senate to say, we have supply gaps. What is the meaning of supply gaps? That means you don't have enough product. So people should stop misleading let the president himself now know that at all times he should not expect to be told the truth by the people who work for him. So, and because of that, he should act according to the dictates of his conscience, that he should act according to the dictates of his conscience, and he should act as the leader of the Nigerian people, as a father. Because that's the only way we can solve this problem.
That's why I say this box up on the table.
But I want to add that I don't agree that the president is being misled. It's because the president is incompetent.
I don't know about being...
That's my own. I'm telling my opinion.
Yes,
let me tell you why. Let me say why I said that.
We will not disparage our president
if you are a leader, and there is a problem that's affecting a part of the country.
Okay, because I wanted to say it's better we go.
That's what I'm saying.
It's better we go to the point.
That's fine.
Yes.
Instead of the president to accept the problem for what it is, what he did, he invited the leaders of Benue people the other time, met with them, and tried to convince them how they can accommodate. But that is not the problem. The problem is that there are some criminal gangs that are doing things that are against the law, that are killing Nigerian citizens. And it is the duty of government. It's not the duty of the leader to listen to those who are telling his advisor. It is his duty, because the first duty of government is to protect the life of its citizens.
All right, we have to leave it there. We'll take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. Please stay with us. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Long queues have resurfaced at petrol stations across Lagos after a few days of relief from a frustrating fuel scarcity that ushered in the new year. The situation remains terribly hopeless. There is still no end in sight, despite NNPC assurances that all was well. Depot owners say they don't have supplies. Perhaps the parapet of lies mounted by the NNPC and its GMD has finally collapsed on its base. What is really going on? Let me start from you, CKM.
Yeah.
Because people did not do, they didn't have a Merry Christmas because of this first situation.
Yes.
Right now, we thought after the festive period, because of the activities of the festive period, the movement and everything, that was what led to, but this is January. And we thought we've seen the end to this scarcity.
Exactly.
That is fundamentally the problem.
The problem is some of the issues we've raised in the past. And I think the Minister of State surely captured it during the Senate's hearing. And I think that very day, Jide and I were on the program. That very day, we play back what there are fundamental issues that need to be sorted out. The marketers, the issues with the independent marketers have not been sorted. These guys are the guys that turns out bulk of this stuff to the market. NNPC cannot continue to be the sole administrator as far as this issue is concerned. And the GMD is not even telling the truth. It said they had so much everywhere, and the reserves and the rest of them.
As a weekend, they were telling us
as a weekend,
about
250 trucks. They said 250 trucks were released to Lagos and Ogun. It wasn't even the country. They said Lagos and Ogun, 250 trucks. Now, by Saturday night. Today is just Monday. Where did those 250 trucks? Where are they? You go to all the streets of, in fact, it's even causing a lot of hold up everywhere. Some of us have to leave because we have to be on this program. We have to leave about an hour earlier than we ought to have here, just to make sure that we are here. So there's a fundamental problem which the NNPC is yet to sort out. Until that issue is sorted out, we'll continue to have this problem. And we thought, according to them, that what we had during the December period was due to the rush and due to the increase in demands and the rest of them. But this is January. People are not traveling as much as they were. People are not traveling for Christmas. People are not traveling for festivities. People are just going about their normal duties. So why do we have the problem? The GMD of NNPC need to be... He has been summoned again. He was summoned. I think he has been summoned by National Assembly. But with that solve the problem, that is not going to solve the problem. The solution to this problem, it still lies with independent marketers. And until they are engaged and they are allowed to import, and the necessary cushion here and there, as enumerated by the Minister of State, for petroleum is sorted out, we'll continue having this issue.
How long are we going to continue with this?
Yeah, I think it's going to be for us for a long time, because Right now, it's only NNPC that is importing fuel. Like I said, the independent marketers are not importing because we have to make up our minds whether we want to subsidize petroleum products or we want to deregulate. If we because the government wants to stop subsidy, it makes it difficult for a lot of these independent marketers to bring in fuel. Because the cost of bringing the fuel is not, by the time they want to look at the regulated price, it's not in their interest to bring in those fuel. And then it is also difficult for them to source for foreign exchange. Those are the problem that was on ground. And NPC was one that was doing most of the importation. But the volume of what we consume, NPC cannot cope. So even when they have products for some time, we will still end up having this kind of problem. Because there is a breach, there is no supply, there is no inadequate supply in the depot where people will get this fuel. That's why we have the problem now. So the government has to make up its mind whether they want to continue to subsidize so that the independent marketers will bring in fuel and come and collect their subsidy that they used to do, or they would deregulate and say, okay, based on the prevailing price, if we bring in this price, we can sell at the price that is economical to everybody. And when things go down, they would allow the forces of demand and supply to determine the price of those products. So everybody can sell the price in their areas based on the economic factors in those areas.
Jide, can we sustain 145 naira per litre? I am asking this question because there's this argument that Nigeria is the place whereby this thing is actually the cheapest, you know, around. Comparing, if you go to some states in America, we can't compare. You know, they sell for $2.50, $2.45, and everything. And if you approximate that in Nigeria, now can we sustain this 145 naira? Because there's like a push, and for government to sustain the 145 naira, we know that it will be heavily. They will continue to pay the subsidy.
I don't see anything wrong in paying the subsidy. Our money gets spent on other things that you and I don't directly benefit from. Why should we, as an oil-producing nation, be paying so much? Why should we? We can't compare ourselves to the Americans because the standard of living of the average American and the disposable income at his disposal, the ordinary Nigerian does not have access to such funds. And government, the things that you pay so much money for, the infrastructure that you pay so much money for, you dig your own borehole, you know, you buy fuel, you fuel your generators, you pay heavily for to put your children through school.
Security.
In some countries of the world, education is free, up to any level, especially those Scandinavian countries. So what is it that we are going to benefit from our country? The president knows that he cannot afford to put us through another fuel price increase. If he tries it, he will not win the next election. I've said it before because I'm sure. If he increases fuel price again, he will be voted out by Nigerians, and he knows it. That is why, right now, the subsidy regime is back, because based on the current due to the current price of petroleum, of crude oil in the international market, you cannot retain the old template. So you subsidize it. It is NNPC that is bearing that trading loss. It is not the marketers. It is NNPC that is bearing the trading loss. Now, if we want to solve the problem of this supply disequilibrium, we need to get marketers involved. We need to give them forex at concessionary rate. After all, we give people forex at concessionary rate to go to Mecca, to go to Jerusalem, you know, and religion is supposed to be a private affair. If we can give all of those people forex at a concessionary rate, the people will bring in products that you and I need, so that we can live happily in Nigeria. We can go to work. Our pains will be reduced. Why don't you just make forex available for those people? We are hearing stories that, oh, if they give marketers forex at discounted rate, it will end up in a bureau de change.
But they do that.
Absolute rubbish.
No, but they do it.
It's
they
not,
do round tripping.
Are they the only ones who do it? Most of the people who had this BDC, so are they not CBN staff?
Yes.
Do you know how many BDCs that CBN has had to close down?
Yes.
Yeah.
CBN staff in inspectorate unit and all that, don't they run BDCs? What are we talking about? So our people should continue to suffer when it is clear that NNPC cannot do this job alone? We've been saying this for weeks. And Nigerians have been fed lies for weeks. Yet we are not through with this problem. Shouldn't we find a way to solve it? If the NNPC would do its job, all they need to do is look for decent marketers. And there has to be due diligence. You have to monitor. You don't give a job to people without monitoring them. Are they saying that there are no decent people in Nigeria that you can do business with?
You can trust.
There are Nigerians who do decent business. They have all their life, they have never stolen a dime from government. Is it that some people are in short supply in Nigeria? How did Obasanjo find the former NAFDAC woman? Akunyili went abroad. She was sponsored abroad for training and returned excess money to government. Because of that, she was persecuted even in a place of that she was too honest. When Obasanjo discovered, Obasanjo gave her that job. It was the day NAFDAC office, the headquarters in Abuja, was opened, that Obasanjo told the story of how she discovered Dora Akunyili. Are we saying that there are no decent people in Nigeria who will do business and refuse to cheat government? So if you say, okay, now people, before you pay people, at least you will look at their documentation, you will look at everything, you will do due diligence. That way, those who are ready to do business without cheating the Nigerian nation, those are the people that you will work with. Otherwise, you don't have refineries that are really effective. All of what the Kaduna refinery, all of what they refined in a year is not enough for us to consume in 4 days. So is that what we are going to sit on? If you are saying that people are going to cheat or they are going to do round tripping, how about CBN staff who are doing it? The other day, the CBN staff were even involved. Some people from outside, you know, successfully did 419 with CBN funds. They called CBN staff and did 419 with CBN funds, despite the fact that the CBN governor had outlined rules that have to be followed to ensure that that kind of scam does not happen. But it happened.
All right, let me quickly take this break. When we come back, we're still on this topic. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout, and we're looking at the persistent fuel scarcity in across the country. I discovered something.
Yeah.
It is maybe in Lagos and only in Lagos and in Abuja that we buy for 145 naira.
Ayo, you know, I just came back. I just came back from the north. I was in Bauchi, I was in Jigawa, I was in Plateau, and I was Gombe. The least we can get from most of the police stations was about 285 naira. The least. None of the, even in Bauchi itself, the capital, you can't get fuel. Up to Gombe. We're even lucky in this part of the country. At least we still see there are some places that vehicles just line up. People just abandon vehicles, line up, and just go home. Some of those vehicles have been lined up.
Let me pick this call from Sokoto. Farouk is calling us from Sokoto. Thank you for joining us, Farouk.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to you all, and good evening to my honorable chairman over today.
Good evening.
I would like to talk about the fuel Nigeria. I think that the president has to do something positive so that the fuel scarcity in Nigeria will be put to a stop. We have countries who have efficient fuel subsidy, which they don't even suffer the way Nigerians are suffering. And we have these raw materials, we have these resources in Nigeria. So why can't the refineries put to work so that all these things will stop? And also, I would like to talk about the Herdsmen class. Please, they should stop calling it Fulani Herdsmen. They should be called Herdsmen, not Fulani Herdsmen. And besides, we are in the 21st century. We are supposed to use our military to stop all these things, not send them there to kill people, but to take the appropriate footsteps in order for these massive killings to be stopped. We are Nigerians. We love to stay in peace. We love peace. We are Nigerians. We have to put all these things aside and stop all these things in order for Nigeria to move forward.
Thank you for your contribution. We actually made that distinction. It's not all Fulanis are bad people. We have exceptional Fulanis in the country.
Yes, so as I was saying, then the initial statement from some quarters within the Ministry of Petroleum Resources that the petroleum products were being diverted. I don't think that suffices now because we don't even have enough. We don't have enough for it. So that's the fact that, you know, that was part of the excuses that was being given in the past that, okay, well, the reason why we have this all is that they were diverting. It's only in the period like this where you have so much that you start diverting. When we don't even have enough for consumption. So, but I still think that the NNPC and the Ministry of Petroleum Resources and DPR, those three organizations should come out and outline how we can get this sorted out. We'll also be told in the past that we had so many vessels on the high sea. I don't know, Judy, I don't know if you have any latest of that, where they say we have so many vessels on the high sea waiting to discharge.
At this stage in my career, you cannot tell me that black is white.
Yes.
I expect that I will not argue with you. Yeah. I conduct my own investigations. If you want to know whether there is fuel, go to the depots. Go around those depots in Lagos. That's where you know if there is fuel or not. Not to listen to Mekanti Baru. What will I get listening to him? Somebody who misled the president? And I will sit down and watch him mislead me? He said the other day that the problem has been solved. Show me one part of Nigeria where that problem has been solved. So that's the person that I will now listen. No matter what they come up with, our own individual assessment of the situation is what is germane. Yeah. Today, Nigerians across the country, people are paying as much as 250 naira a liter because that's the product is just not available. Yeah. And even look at, I was reading, the spokesman of NEPCO was saying that, oh, they've been supplying marketers, but that the volume had dropped. He admitted it. Executive Secretary of DAPMA also said there's shortage of petrol supply across the country. I've been saying that the volume of petrol that we have currently was not enough. At a point when people felt, oh, it's a usual thing at Christmas. That's what I've been saying, that look, the NNPC has not put enough supply in the market. It's just that people just say, oh, it's happened at Christmas. But it didn't happen in December 2016. Why can't people ask themselves such questions? In December 2016, there was no first carrying in December 2016. Yeah, yes. If you are saying, oh, it's every December that we have it. Now we're even through with December. Why is there no respite? There's nowhere across the country where there is.
Because they don't have enough.
That's just not enough.
My own suggestion is this. My own suggestion is this. Right now, NNPC is the only one doing the importation. That cannot work. NNPC does not have the capacity to do it alone. They have to do it with independent marketers. So what I would suggest is that instead of making it a free-for-all where a lot of people can bring in fuel, provided you have the means and access to do that, government can decide to use, for now, the major marketers who are established companies who they can do business with, and they won't bother about round-tripping or anything, because
some of them are saying that they're in business to make profits.
Yes.
By the time they bring it, they can afford.
Yes, I want to come to that one. That's what I'm saying. By the time you allow these major marketers to import, then that means the government have decided to pick up the subsidy. We have to stop the.
Are they not picking
That's
up
what I'm saying. Because now NNPC is
even now there is subsidy.
There is subsidy.
They spend almost 500 billion already.
There is subsidy already. But because the problem is that because they did not now solve the problem, because there are 3 different types of problems with the independent marketers. They are owing them a lot of money. 800 billion. Does not pay substantial part of it.
1 trillion.
2, these independent marketers find it difficult to get foreign exchange. And this fuel that we are talking about, you need foreign exchange to do it. You understand? So the government has to make up its mind what they want to do. Like he said, if you can provide foreign exchange for people who are doing individual things or faith or all that, we should be able to know that, oh, these major marketers who are going to import this fuel, then we must be able to give them concessions and provide foreign exchange needed for them to do those things. And then but ultimately, we have to deregulate that sector. We must allow each section of the country to sell the price, to use economic economic indices in that area. There is no reason why fuel should sell the same price in Lagos and Sokoto. And in most of these places, people actually pay high premium to buy this fuel. So they buy it anyway. They don't even get it to buy at that 145. Yes. During scarcity. So let us look at that. The initial problem is, how do we bridge the problem of supply? And the only way we can do that is for us to be able to use major marketers, at least bring them back to the table to be able to import fuel, give them the foreign exchange needed to do that, and government should pay the subsidy.
Somebody was even suggesting that the CBN can actually pay, once they submit their documentation, the CBN can pay
directly
the clients. Directly.
Yes.
If you are scared that they will
do a direct transfer.
But even the CBN, they are master diversers of foreign exchange. They know it. God knows it. So what are we talking about?
The implication,
a lot of them, the CBN staff, a lot of them run BDCs. Go and investigate.
The implication
I'm not true. So if they do that, at least we can sort out the problem. But if an NPC wants to do its work, they know marketers that are decent. What they are doing now, you know what they are doing now? They are supplying Moman filling stations. That's major marketers. That's why when you go around, it's only major marketers who have fuel. But even now, because they don't have enough, both NNPC filling stations and major marketers, they don't even have product. So if you, in Lagos now, they are talking about 250, that they've released 250 trucks. Between, that's roughly 250 filling stations. Between Lagos and Ogun State, there are more than 900 filling stations. So how do you cover for all of that?
Dala is calling us from Bauchi State. Thank you for joining us, Dala.
Hello, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Bala, calling from Bauchi.
Bala.
My contribution here is that, as like I have said, like I've heard Babajide was saying that subsidy is about to be set back. Actually, what I want to say here is that if the government is trying to bring back the subsidy, let the government give account on a previous subsidy that it has removed, because that subsidy was removed in the name of improving the life of the populace of Nigeria, and nothing has been done on ground for populace, for masses to see. So therefore, if government is still bringing back the subsidy, let the government give account on the previous one that it has removed from it. So this is what I want to say.
Thank you, Bala. Thank you for your contribution. Sikian.
Yes, as I was saying, the implication is not just people buying fuel and finding it difficult to buy fuel, but this has affected transportation, cost of transportation, food items in the market. Everything is skyrocketing. So it's not just the fuel, the economic value that is being affected presently is so terrible. If you go to the market, the normal, your gari, your rice, everything has skyrocketed.
Everything has gone up.
So those are the problem. So it's not just we're not having fuel, and they cannot go on like this for long, or else there'll be problem.
All right.
So people will turn against the government.
Moving on now. It is obvious that President Muhammadu Buhari did not anticipate that the 2015 president election would have had a peaceful ending almost 3 years into his 4 years administration. Mr. President reflected on the phone call that ended the reign of the People's Democratic Party in Aso Villa. He said he did not believe that the former President Jonathan would throw in the towel without giving a fight. Why would the former president's attitude surprise anyone? This is very important because when history makers, people that put books together, have been reading a lot of accounts. I've read Segun Adeniyi on this. I've read Bolaji, my friend, the spokesman Abdullahi. We've read how, you know, that famous phone call. Babajide, the president said he was surprised. In fact, that's putting it mildly. He said he almost went into coma.
He said he went into coma.
That's, you know, very shocking. And the book of Bolaji that I read, there was this transcription of the conversation from both ends, and you will see it that for the first time, and today, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, I think is better off for that. and for peace, for everything. If reverse were to be the case, do you see President Muhammadu Buhari conceding that kind of defeat, knowing that Muhammadu Buhari was in court to Supreme Court level in all his cases, most of his cases from 2003? President Buhari did not attend most of the Council of State meeting after, you know, even until after the extension of the litigation. Now, so should he start learning from the templates of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan?
I think for him to have repeated this again and again and again, I think for him to have repeated this again and again and again, he must have picked up valuable lessons. For me, I'm not surprised. There are funny people who say, oh, it was just out of cowardice that he did it, or because he knew that they were, the international court will come after him. When things like this happen, you get the most ridiculous comments from Nigerians. But the truth is, Goodluck Jonathan tried to reform our electoral process. If Goodluck Jonathan wanted to stay put in power, he would not have brought someone like Jega. Yeah. He brought Jega. He pleaded. Jega didn't want to accept the job. Jega was a member of the Electoral Reform Committee headed by Justice Owais. When he had hunted him, they told him, look, this is a man who will do a decent job. Said he had never met him. They told him this man would do a decent job. Now, he went for him. Jega didn't want the job. He had to beg people to convince Jega to take the job. Now, Jega took the job, and given his integrity, Jega was ready to do an excellent job, which he did. I know a former president, today I will not mention his name, who would never even pick a Jega in the first place. He would pick someone who would do the job for him. That former president famously said in 2007 that an election was a do-or-die affair. So if that former president was in that position, you will not even defeat him in the first place. Not to talk of conceding. Especially an election that was close. Let me tell you, Sule Lamido was on BBC. And Sule Lamido was saying, look, we will win this election, whether you like it or not. And if we win the election, you will riot. It will only be limited to northern states. After 5 days, you will stop rioting. We will put soldiers on the road. But during those 5 days, people will have been killed. That was what Goodluck Jonathan did not want to see happen. Remember, even before the election, he was saying, no ambition of any politician is worth the blood of any Nigerian. So that's to tell you that from the beginning, he didn't see the thing as a life and death affair. So to say that, oh, it's because John Kerry came and all that, that was why he had to beat a retreat. It's just, when people hate you normally, there's nothing you do that will be good in their eyes. But the president, who is the beneficiary of that gesture, appreciates it so much that he has said this thing at least 3 times. He has said it repeatedly.
He's been honest.
That's why he appreciates. Look, Goodluck, the day, remember that meeting that was called between the contestants? And when they greeted, President Buhari and him hugged. He hugged Buhari animatedly, but the president, President Buhari held back a little bit. And that day, he kept saying, welcome, sir, welcome, sir. He was using sir. He was using sir for Buhari throughout. That is the nature of the man. No matter what people say about him, oh, he ran, yes, he ran a government that literally legalized brigandage. No doubt about it. The people around him stole. But Goodluck Jonathan, as an individual, is a nice person. He had a good heart. He didn't want Nigerians to die because of the ambition of himself. And since 1999, this is the first time that the presidential election matter will not go to any court. Honestly. Because he convinced his party not to go to court. So that is it's credit to him, and I can understand why the president is appreciative. Because he said it. He said if he wanted to cause crisis, he could have caused crisis. He was the sitting president. He had the power.
Yes, I want to add my voice to that. President Goodluck Jonathan is a good man, a very decent man, who genuinely loved this country. And I think he was mindful of his background, and he felt that God has been very kind to him. You understand? He was president, but he also realized that for somebody from a very small village in Bayelsa State to become president of Nigeria is God's grace. And I think he felt that was enough for him, and that his ambition is not what Nigeria has. Because, like he said, if he had wanted to create crisis, he would have created crisis. It's just for him to say, I don't accept this election, there is some elections in some areas. He
said that on the day of the election, that they were sending proof of
that's what I'm saying.
And all that
to him. He could have created crisis. Report. And at that time, everybody was so scared. Everybody felt that there would be so much problem that even the military could take over. Everybody was looking at different scenario. And for a man to sacrifice his ambition, to say, whatever we say about him, history will be kind to him.
Yes,
that at a particular time in Nigerian history, he made the country to move forward by sacrificing his own ambition. We cannot deny him that.
Yes. If former President Jonathan wanted to annul the election, he would have done that. For example, remember vividly that he found it difficult to vote. Remember what happened the day of election? That very day. Yes. You know, he came the first time, tried with his mother and the wife, they couldn't vote. He went back home.
The president.
If number one
citizen. He went home. He could not access the corridor. Then he came back a second time before he could vote. That's enough evidence for him to say, okay. And it was on live television. If I couldn't vote, every other person, so what are you going to do?
That means a lot of people have been
disenfranchised. He could have, just as he mentioned, one
particular
particular
president pictures of underage voting
that were voting and arrested. Just like he mentioned, a particular president would have done that.
Yes.
We are not mentioning him here.
That particular president.
That president would have done that. Then secondly, come to think of it, I also believe why he did that was that it became obvious to him that his foot soldiers disappointed him. When the initial results started coming in, he realized that all the people that were around him and saying, no, we are this, didn't do what they are supposed to do. So for that, he decided that, well, I will shock you all. And when he made that call, remember, if you read the book, the wife was not even aware. The man just moved away to somewhere and just made a call and said, President, So President Goodluck Jonathan will remain. And I believe, and I still believe, that's why the current president, in as much as everybody around Jonathan has been picked and questioned and the rest of them, I believe that is why the current president, still felt that he deserved that respect. And that's why
if they find something about him, they will pick him. Yeah. This man said repeatedly that he does not have an account anywhere outside
the country.
Yes, he does not have a home anywhere outside. Yes. You see, there are decent Nigerians. It's not every Nigerian who is a thief. Yeah. What's his name? The former governor of Kano State. Shekarau, Kano State. Decent man. Yeah. His house today, they had to build it for him. There are some Nigerians who are decent in our country. It's not every Nigerian who is a thief. To be president for that number of years, for those number of years, and not have foreign accounts. That's why when this day, see where he's living in Abuja.
That's what I'm saying.
Where he's living in Abuja, there is no Nigerian former head of state who will be living in that kind of.
That's near Charlie Boy's house.
No, because when they said the people went to his house, I was shocked when they announced that.
The thing relay is even that. Okay, when they this day carried one story that Jonathan had fled to exile. The following week he came back to Nigeria. So I have no reason to flee.
I'm back.
People around him may have stolen money, but if you have proof that he has stolen them, bring out the proof. Yes, we expected him to be stronger than that as a leader, and he didn't provide that, but he cannot provide what he didn't have. You know? It was good fortune that made him president. It clearly was not, if we had a choice, it clearly would not be the best that we put forward. But people must learn to give him credit. There's a friend of mine, one Ishmael, a friend of mine on Facebook, who is saying that you asked me the question that if it was the president, will he? The truth is, Ayo didn't ask that question. He only said it. The question he asked me was, the president will have learned from this or something. That's what he asked me. He didn't eventually ask me that question. If he asked me, he did.
No. He started by asking. He started asking.
No, you don't understand. No, you don't understand. I was waiting for him.
No.
Why did no?
He started.
No, that's not the question.
It was reverse.
He started
about the same thing.
No, that's not what you said. He started by saying, oh, the president that he went to court like 3-4 times.
Yes,
and I was asking, he didn't land. And I went to something else. So if Ayo didn't show the courage to ask me the question, why should I show the courage to answer a question that I didn't ask me?
No. That's politics.
He didn't
You're a
ask.
politician.
It's on record. It's on record. See,
It's on record.
in any case, you know what I would have said if Ayo asked that question. Do you think the president? Let me answer the question. If Ayo had asked that question, that do you think the president would have done the same thing? I will say that is an hypothetical question. And I don't like answering hypothetical questions.
Well, I hope that NNPC will do something about it. I don't think in the 21st century we should still be queuing for fuel every time. We just did that in December. We are doing it again. I think they should get their acts.
Shouldn't be a way of life.
I just appeal to the president. We're having a lot of challenges and Nigerians are suffering. We should just do something to just help us, help Nigerians.
All right. On that note, we call it a day on Journalist Hangout today. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 on all our platforms. As you can see on the screen, you can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube. That's youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Ayodele Ozubakun. See you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.